Hello everyone, nice to see you all again. And today we are going to talk quickly about whether we should live an EMI free life and 5 things that you should do about it. Of course, the answer to the first part of the title is yes, who doesn't want to live an EMI free life? But practically, many times that's really just not possible. So what are those 5 things that you can do about it is what this 8-minute video is going to be about. Let's see you there. The number one thing that we should know is that not all EMIs are bad. There are good EMIs and then there are bad EMIs. Let's talk about few examples of the good EMI first. Let's say you want to buy a home, right? So if this is going to be your first home in India, the home is a very cultural thing. Every Indian should have a home. That's what we have been made believe about, and it's non-negotiable. You just can't say no to it, whether you are a 25-year-old kid or whether you are a 50-year-old guy. So when you take loan for something that is very deep rooted in your culture, in this example your first home, then that is an example of a good EMI. Another example, let me give you something which has to do with career development or upskilling or education. So, think about this. We pay EMIs for a couple of years, but when we acquire a special skill or when we develop a certain competency or when we when we acquire a new degree, then what happens is our value exponentially increases over a period of time. It helps us earn more money, it helps us grow in our career, and it helps us to do so many things that will make us successful over a period of time. So in this particular example, what happens is that you pay this good EMI maybe for 5 years or for 7 years or whatever it may be, or even for a couple of months if it's just a couple of thousand rupees, and then the result is sustained over your lifetime in most of the cases. That is what is the example with the house as well, right? It's your first house. There are very few chances that you're going to sell it, if at all such a situation comes. And so these are those two examples of good EMIs. Good EMIs increase our value. Good EMIs give financial security. Good EMIs give a sense of purpose, and those good EMIs are good, right? So that's number one. Now let's quickly talk about the number two. Bad EMIs are those which make you feel under pressure, which make you feel burdened. They actually slow us down, I'm sure all of you would have felt it if you have EMIs. Now, these bad EMIs result from our wants, right? So they are things that we essentially don't need, but we anyway want them because either it makes us feel good or it makes us, be a better person in the society, or sometimes it's just peer pressure. People around you, they have this, why shouldn't I have, and all of that. So those things result in bad EMIs. So point number one is we've seen what good EMIs are, and point number two is we've seen what bad EMIs are and examples for all these bad EMIs. Point number three, your good EMIs should not exceed 40 to 45% of your household income, right? Remember that 40 to 45% of your household income. Now, when I say a household income, it means if you're married, of course, it means the total family income of you and your spouse. Right, so both of your combined incomes, your good EMIs, which is EMI for your first home, and if you have any EMIs for upskilling or career development or anything of that sort, should not exceed 40 to 45%. Remember this. Very critical and very important. Now, between 45 to 50%, you're actually in the yellow zone, and anything above 50% is absolutely red, absolutely not recommended at all, not recommended at all in any circumstances. Now, I'm a certified financial planner for last about 10 years, and I've been in the financial industry from 2007, so that's about 13 years. And I have seen numerous clients coming and telling me, Akash, today my my EMI outflow, if I purchase this, maybe 60% or 65% of of my household income. But considering that I'll get a raise every year, and 5 years down the line, it'll come within that 50%. Friends, believe me, this is not where you want to go. 40 to 45% should be as on today, because there are so many things that are not in your control. Like, for example, the interest rate movement, right? The interest rates gets reset every quarter or every year, depending on what kind of a loan you have, and it may move up or it may move down, and you still want to have that 5% flexibility, so that it remains within your budget. Sometimes economic conditions, like the conditions that we are in, may result in job loss, or could result, if you at least lose a job, you can go get another one. But sometimes it will result in lower incomes, or a pay cuts, or it may even result in no salary increment at all. So these are the reasons why you shouldn't think 5 years later it's still going to be 50%. No, when you start, it has to be between 45 to 50%. These are the golden rules when it comes to living with good EMIs. Now, the fourth one is very important, right? So try this philosophy, if I can indulge you for a couple of minutes here. Buy anything that you want. I'm not asking you not to buy. I'm not asking you not to buy the TV, the latest gadget, the tech phone that you've seen, the newest released phone. Take that vacation, upgrade your car, no problem, do it. Those are your wants. You want to feel good about it. We all work hard, and there is some reward that we want to give ourselves back. So when we want to do that, great, go ahead, buy it. But what I'm trying to tell you, friends, is don't take a bloody EMI on it, right? So that's a bad EMI. Please remember something: when you focus more on your wants, you don't have enough for your needs, right? I don't remember who said this, but there is a beautiful proverb: leaders always first focus on their needs before going to their wants. So what happens here is when you do these purchases, you are not locking yourself for if they are small consumer durable purchases for a couple of years or for a couple of months. You don't get locked for a longer period of time. Instead of taking a loan, you are trying to fulfill them through your cash flow. Now, what do I mean by cash flow? It means that you should try to buy these from your income. You may exactly ask me, Akash, I don't have that money, and that is why I'm taking the loan. Great. Save for 3 months. Let's say something that you want to buy costs about 45,000 rupees, right? Save 15,000 for 3 months, and then buy it. It's okay to postpone your buying decision by 3 months, right? And if you postpone it after I mean up to 3 months, and you still feel that you want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. You deserve it. So do that. Why do you want to pay interest to somebody else on your wants? Think about the philosophy. What I'm merely trying to say is, instead of taking a loan, which is actually a liability, make it from your cash flow, which is your income, so you don't have a long-term commitment, right? You buy it, you're done with it. So there are three things that will happen here when you do these purchases through your income. Item number one, you will buy things that are most importantly wanted. Even in the list of wants, there is the most important or the most valuable want, and the least important and the least valuable want. You will try to focus there, so you will spend less on these things which you don't need right now, right? So that's one good thing that will happen. The second good thing that will happen is you will start the sense of saving for a short term goal, right? So the sense of savings will start coming in. It's very difficult to save. I know it. I have been there, done that. Though I advise a lot of people about financial planning, I still know that saving is not easy, particularly when you're going to talk about long goals like retirement and all of that. So here it's still manageable. Just save for a couple of months and buy what you felt that you wanted, and just that, don't take a EMI on it, and don't let it be your liability. Right. So what happens next, right? Because of all of these wants, you won't have money for your needs. This happens next. When we do all of this, suddenly we don't have money for our needs. When we don't have money for our needs, we end up borrowing, and then we get trapped in that vicious cycle. So we start living paycheck to paycheck, and we are unable to save for the long term goals, or for the most important goals, which is the stupidest thing to do. Point number 5 is to take baby steps. Think about it, right? Look at the people around you. Look at your own. Look within your own family. Uh, we started small, right? Our parents, did they buy the biggest house on day one? No, they didn't. They started small. They first bought something that they could afford, and over a couple of years, they upgraded to something better, something that could serve the purpose. But at the end of the day, when you want, even about the good EMIs, doesn't matter whether they're good EMIs or bad EMIs, but still take those baby steps. Why don't we just forget to do that? I have an interesting client of mine who's also my ex-employee, very nice guy, very, very soft spoken. Over this goal planning exercise, I had asked him, okay, what kind of home would you want? And he and his wife spoke, and he came back to me and described the goal, and the value was spec something about 1.75 to 1.2 crores. It immediately became unaffordable, right? So what I told him is, hey, you don't need such a big thing right now. Why don't we start with something affordable? Now, instead of moving the goal by 10 years, by the time this 2 crores will become 5 crores, why don't you start with something small? Why don't you start with a home on a 3 cent duplex, 1200 square feet, comfortable 2 bedrooms with a car park and all of that? That just came at 50% or even lesser than the original cost of the goal. Now, what happened with this is that it became affordable. It became something that he can think of in the next 3 years, and something that he can work towards, something that motivated him, and most importantly, something that did not require him to liquidate all his savings that he had saved for the last 10 years of his career, right? So taking those baby steps, not that we shouldn't, right? If you can afford, go ahead and buy it. But what I see most of the times, generally, that happens is people just go for a larger one. Just they can afford X, but they take X plus 2. They can afford Y, they take Y plus 3. Now, why to do that, right? Why do you want to put yourself in that kind of a pressure? You don't need it if you really don't need it. Simple, right? The society will judge you, even if you have a even if you have a Ford Figo, or if you have a Ford EcoSport, or even if you have a BMW, the society is going to tell you what they have to tell you. What is more important is what you think of yourself. Think about it. Take baby steps. Take those small steps, and make things possible. Now, here is your bonus tip number 6. There is nothing in the world which is an interest-free loan, right? It's just a big scam of all the large corporations and the financial industries, which only want you to make you buy something which you don't really need, right? So there is nothing called as an interest-free loan. There is no free lunch in this world. Beware before pressing that buy button. Beware before giving your details of whether you are eligible for a what they call a loan in 10 minutes and all of that. You really don't need it. Think about this. Everything that we need has some cost to it, right? So talk about a home loan. It comes between 7.5% to 10-12%, depending on which bank you buy from. That's not free. Talk about educational loan. Is it free? No, it is not free, right? So things that are not things that we need are never free, and things that we want, things that are impulsive, looks to be very attractive and looks free. Beware of those, and just keep away from those stupid things, my dear friends. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this has had some value to you, you have few questions, write down in the comments below, and then subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thank you very much. Love you all, and see you again next week. Bye bye.